Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class we were discussing about the Vice President of India, and from this class we will continue our discussion further. So friends, in this class we will start our discussion with the removal of Vice President. Okay, so we will start our discussion with the removal of Vice President. So how the Vice President of India is removed? How the Vice President of India is removed? So friends, the resolution asking for the removal of Vice President, resolution asking for the removal of Vice President can be introduced in Rajya Sabha. So I have told you in the last class that Vice President of India acts as ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so the main work of the Vice President of India is to act as ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. So the resolution asking for the removal, okay, resolution asking for the removal of Vice President of India can be introduced in Rajya Sabha. Now what is the meaning of resolution? So resolution means proposal. Okay, what is the meaning of resolution? Resolution means proposal. So friends, the proposal or resolution asking for the removal of Vice President can be introduced in Rajya Sabha. Now friends, in order to introduce the resolution in Rajya Sabha, in order to introduce the resolution asking for the removal of Vice President in Rajya Sabha, the support of at least 50 members of Rajya Sabha is needed. Okay, so to introduce this resolution in Rajya Sabha, the support of at least 50 members of Rajya Sabha is needed. Now what does it mean? So it means that at least 50 members of Rajya Sabha together can introduce the resolution, can introduce the proposal asking for the removal of Vice President. Now friends, then the question arises that where is it given that this resolution should be supported by 50 members? So first of all, this is not given in the Constitution of India. Okay, so this is not given in the Constitution of India that this resolution should be introduced by at least 50 members. So where it is given? So it is given in the parliamentary proceedings. Okay, this is given in the parliamentary proceedings. Now what is the meaning of parliamentary proceedings? So parliamentary proceeding means how the work goes on in parliament, how the work is done in parliament, what are the procedures adopted in parliament. So it is given in the parliamentary proceedings that the resolution asking for the removal of Vice President of India, the resolution asking for the removal of Vice President of India shall be introduced in Rajya Sabha only if it is supported by 50 members of Rajya Sabha. So this resolution must get the support of at least 50 members. Now friends, there is a condition. Now what is this condition? The condition is notice. Now what does it mean? So it means that before introducing any such resolution in Rajya Sabha, a notice should be served to the Vice President of India. Okay, so before introducing this resolution in Rajya Sabha, a notice is given to the Vice President of India. And what is written in that notice? So it is written in that notice that the process of your removal is going to start in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so a notice is given to Vice President of India regarding his removal, and after the expiry of 14 days period, okay, so after the expiry of 14 days period, any further procedure can be initiated. Now what does it mean? So it means that no further proceeding regarding the removal of Vice President of India can be initiated in Rajya Sabha until 14 days have passed after serving him the notice. Okay, so after the 14 days of serving him notice means after 14 days have passed after serving him notice, any further procedure can be initiated in Rajya Sabha regarding the removal of Vice President of India. Now friends, let's suppose that the notice is given to the Vice President of India regarding his removal. Okay, and 14 days have passed. Okay, so notice is given to him regarding his removal and 14 days have already passed. Okay, so now what will happen further? Let's see. So friends, now this resolution will be introduced in Rajya Sabha for voting. Okay, so now voting will take place on this resolution. Now voting will take place on this resolution asking for the removal of vice president. So friends, now voting will take place on the resolution. Okay, and the members will have two choices. Either they can support the resolution or they can oppose the resolution. Supporting the resolution means they are in the favor of removing the vice president, and opposing the resolution means they are not in the favor of removing the vice president. Okay, so now voting will take place in Rajya Sabha. Now friends, what is the majority needed? Okay, so what is the majority needed for the removal of vice president? What majority is needed for the removal of vice president? Okay, so let's see what majority is needed for the removal of vice president of India. So friends, effective majority is needed. Okay, so which majority is needed? Effective majority is needed to remove the vice president of India in Rajya Sabha. So first of all, effective majority is needed in Rajya Sabha to pass this resolution. Now what is the meaning of effective majority? So effective majority means more than 50% of total strength of house. Okay, more than 50% of total strength of house minus vacancies in the house. Okay, so what does it mean? So it means that more than 50% of total strength of house minus vacancies in the house. Okay, so this is called as effective majority, or the majority of all the then members of the house. So to pass the resolution asking for the removal of vice president, to pass this resolution in Rajya Sabha, effective majority is needed. And what is the meaning of effective majority? So effective majority means more than 50% of total strength of the house minus vacancies in the house. Now friends, I will give you one example so that you can understand it very clearly. Now we all know that what is the strength of Rajya Sabha. So the strength of Rajya Sabha is 245. Okay, so what is the strength of Rajya Sabha? So it is 245. Now let's suppose there are 5 vacancies in Rajya Sabha. Now what is the meaning of vacancy? So vacancy means when a seat is vacant in Rajya Sabha, when a seat is emptied in Rajya Sabha, means there is no member on that seat. So when there is a empty seat in Rajya Sabha, when there is a empty seat in Rajya Sabha, so when there is a empty seat in Rajya Sabha means no person is occupying that seat, then it is called as vacancy in Rajya Sabha. Now vacancy can be created due to many reasons. For example, due to the death of a candidate, due to the death of a member, due to the resignation of a member. So there can be many reasons of the vacancies. So vacancy means when a seat is empty in Rajya Sabha. So let's suppose friends, 5 seats are empty in Rajya Sabha, means there are 5 vacancies in Rajya Sabha, and there are total 245 members in Rajya Sabha. So when we will calculate this, so the answer will come as 240. So what will be the answer? Answer will be 240. Now friends, we have to calculate 50% of 240. So how we will calculate 50% of 240? So we have to multiply this 240 by 1 by 2. Okay, so we have to multiply this 240 by 1 by 2, and when you will solve this equation, so answer will come 120. So what the answer will come? Answer will come as 120. So and we need more than 120. So what is the number more than 120? Okay, so what is the number more than 120? So it is 121. So what does it mean? It means that when this resolution will be supported by at least 121 members in Rajya Sabha, then this resolution will be passed in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so now friends, let's suppose that this resolution is passed in Rajya Sabha. So now what will happen? Okay, so once this resolution is passed in Rajya Sabha, then this resolution will be sent to Lok Sabha. Now friends, this resolution will be sent to Lok Sabha. Now what will happen in Lok Sabha? So again friends, in Lok Sabha voting will take place. Okay, so in Lok Sabha also voting will take place. And what is the majority needed in Lok Sabha to pass this resolution? Okay, so what majority is needed in Lok Sabha to pass this resolution. So the simple majority, okay, simple majority is needed in Lok Sabha to pass this resolution. So no effective majority is needed in Lok Sabha. Only simple majority is needed in Lok Sabha to pass this resolution. Okay, and friends, now friends, what is the meaning of simple majority? Okay, so simple majority means more than 50%, okay, more than 50% of the members present and voting. Okay, so what is the meaning of simple majority? So simple majority means more than 50% of the members present and voting. Now what does it mean? So I will give you one example so that you can understand it very easily. Now friends, we all know that how many members are there in Lok Sabha. So there are total 543 members in Lok Sabha. Okay. Now friends, let's suppose on a given day, okay, means on the day when voting was to take place. So on the day of voting, okay, so out of these 543 members, on the day of voting, out of these 543 members, let's suppose that 43 members were absent. Okay, means these members were not present. So 43 members were absent. So how many members were present? So you can say that, sir, only 500 members were present out of 543. Okay, so how many members were present? Only 500 members were present out of 543. Now friends, let's suppose that out of these 500 members, okay, out of these 500 members, 60 members decided that they will not give their vote. Okay, so they have decided that they will not participate in the voting. Now how many members? Okay, so friends, how many members? 60 members have decided that they will not cast their votes. So what is the remainder? So remainder is 440. Now what does it mean? It means that these 440 members were present in voting and they casted their vote. Okay, so these 440 members were present in voting and they casted their vote. So it means that 440 members were present and voting. Now friends, we need 50% of present and voting. So we have to calculate 50% of 440. Okay, so we will multiply this by 50 upon 100. Okay, and when you will do all the calculation, so it will be simplified to 1 by 2, and when you will divide it by 2, so the result will come as 220. So what is the result? So result is 220. And we need more than 220. And what is the number more than 220? So it is 221. Means when this resolution will be supported by minimum 221 members in Lok Sabha, then this resolution will be passed in Lok Sabha also. Okay, and if this resolution is passed in Lok Sabha, then the vice president will be removed. Okay, then the vice president of India will be removed. So this was the process of the removal of vice president of India. Now friends, then the question arises that what are the grounds, okay, what are the grounds on which the vice president of India is removed, okay, on which the vice president of India can be removed. So the answer to this question is that no such ground is mentioned in the constitution. Okay, so constitution has not mentioned any ground for the removal of vice president of India. So friends, the constitution of India has not mentioned any ground for the removal of the vice president of India. Okay, so it is just a political determination of Rajya Sabha. So no such ground for the removal of vice president of India is mentioned in the constitution of India. So if the question is asked in your exam that which of the following grounds for the removal of vice president of India is mentioned in the constitution, then you have to choose the option that no ground has mentioned in constitution has not mentioned any ground regarding the removal of the vice president of India. Now friends, let's discuss about the re-election. Okay, so let's discuss about the re-election for the office of vice president of India. So friends, re-election for the new vice president, okay, re-election for the new vice president should be held before the expiry of the term of serving vice president. Now what does it mean? So let's suppose, okay, I am just giving a hypothetical example. Okay, so friends, let's suppose that the current vice president of India will get retired on 11th of August 2022. Okay, so let's suppose that current vice president will get retired on 11th August 2022. So friends, now the Election Commission of India, okay, so Election Commission of India will hold the elections. Election Commission of India will hold the elections for the next vice president before this date. Okay, so Election Commission of India will hold the election for the next vice president of India before 11th August 2022. Okay, so the re-elections for the new vice president are held during the term of the serving vice president before the expiry of his term. For example, if the current vice president will get retired on 11th August 2022, so the Election Commission of India has to hold the elections for the new vice president of India before this date. Okay, now friends, let's discuss about the vacancy in the office of the Vice President of India. Now vacancy means when the post of Vice President of India is empty, when no person is holding the post of the Vice President of India. Okay, so let's discuss about the vacancy in the office of Vice President of India. Now friends, what can be the grounds of vacancy? So first of all, vacancy can be due to death. Means the person holding the office of the Vice President of India get died. Okay, so due to death, vacancy can happen. Then friends, vacancy can happen in the office of Vice President of India due to resignation. Okay, so if the serving Vice President of India resigns from his office and he offers his resignation to the President of India, then also the seat will become vacant. Okay, then also there will be a vacancy in the office of the Vice President of India. After that friends, there can be a vacancy in the office of the Vice President of India due to removal. So just now I have explained you about the procedure of the removal of Vice President of India. Okay, means how Parliament can remove the Vice President of India. So if Parliament removes the Vice President of India, then also vacancy will be created in the office of the Vice President of India. Now friends, I have told you in the lecture of the President that if there is a vacancy in the office of the President of India. Okay, so I have told you that if there is a vacancy in the office of the President of India, then Election Commission has to organize the elections. Election Commission of India has to conduct the elections within 6 months. Okay, so in the case of President of India, Election Commission has to conduct the election within 6 months. But friends, if there is a vacancy in the office of the Vice President of India, then Election Commission has to conduct the elections as soon as possible. Okay, so no timeline is given in the Constitution of India, no date is given in the Constitution of India, but it is written that if there is a vacancy in the office of the Vice President of India, then Election Commission should conduct the elections for the new Vice President as soon as possible. Now friends, then the question arises that if there is a vacancy in the office of the Vice President of India, then who will work as the Vice President of India? Who will take the seat of Vice President of India? So the answer to the question is that no one will take the role as the Vice President of India. Why? Because what is the role of Vice President of India? So Vice President of India's main role is to serve as the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, and when the office of the President is either vacant or absent, then Vice President of India acts as the President of India. So we can say that as such, there is no personal role for the Vice President of India. So definitely no one take the role of Vice President of India when there is a vacancy in the office of Vice President of India. Okay, but friends, then one more question arises. So the next question is that if the office of the Vice President of India is empty, then the office of the Chairman of Rajya Sabha will also become vacant. Why? Because Chairman Rajya Sabha is actually Vice President works as Chairman Rajya Sabha. So if there is a vacancy in the office of the President vice president, if there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, then the post of chairman Rajya Sabha will also become vacant. So now the question arises that who will serve? Okay, now who will serve as chairman Rajya Sabha? So the answer to this question is that deputy chairman Rajya Sabha, okay, deputy chairman Rajya Sabha will serve as chairman Rajya Sabha. Okay, so deputy chairman Rajya Sabha will serve as chairman Rajya Sabha when there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president of India. Now friends, let's move further. So now let us discuss about the salary of the vice president of India. So friends, first of all, Constitution does not mention about the salary of the vice president of India. Okay, so Constitution does not mention about the salary of the vice president of India. So friends, when vice president of India acts as the chairman of Rajya Sabha, then he draws his salary and all the financial gains. Okay, then he gets salary and financial gains as the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So when Vice President of India acts as chairman of Rajya Sabha, then he gets salary as the chairman of Rajya Sabha. And when Vice President of India acts as the President of India, then he gets salary as the President of India. Means he get all the salary and emoluments which are reserved for the President of India. He gets salary and perks which are reserved for the President of India. Okay, so there is no salary mentioned for the Vice President of India. When he acts as chairman Rajya Sabha, he gets salary as chairman Rajya Sabha, and when he acts as President of India, then he get all the perks and salaries which are reserved for the President of India. So friends, with this, the topic of the Vice President of India is now completed. So now let's move further. Now friends, let's start our discussion with the Council of Ministers, okay, or we can call it COM in short. Okay, so now let's start our discussion with Council of Ministers or COM. Friends, Council of Ministers or COM is the executive wing of the Union government. Okay, so Council of Minister or COM is the executive wing of the Union government, and in short, in general language, Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister is called as government. Okay, so Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister is called as government in layman language, in general term. But in specific terms, in specific language, it is actually the executive branch of the government. It is actually the executive wing of the government. But in general terms, it is also called as government. Now friends, what happens in parliamentary form of system? What happens in parliamentary form of system, that executive or Council of Ministers is a part of legislature. Okay, so what happens in parliamentary form of government, that executive is a part of legislature. Now what does it mean? So it means that the members of Council of Ministers are taken from the Council of Ministers are taken from the legislature. Now friends, I will give you one example so that you can understand it very carefully, so that you can understand it very easily. So friends, let's suppose that this is Rajya Sabha. So we all know that Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament. So I have drawn Rajya Sabha on Lok Sabha, okay, and this bigger circle is Lok Sabha. So the smaller top circle is Rajya Sabha and the bigger circle is Lok Sabha. So this is Rajya Sabha and this is Lok Sabha. Now friends, we all know that there are many members in Lok Sabha, okay, and we know that how many members are there in Lok Sabha. So there are total 245 members in Lok Sabha. Similarly friends, I have told you that there are 543 members in Rajya Sabha. So these stars or cross represent one member of Lok Sabha or one member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so friends, there are total 245 members in Rajya Sabha and 543 members in Lok Sabha. Okay, so there are total 245 members in Rajya Sabha and 543 members in Lok Sabha. So the cross in red color represents member of Rajya Sabha and cross in blue color represents member of Lok Sabha. Now how the government is made, how the Council of Ministers are chosen in Lok Sabha. So friends, First of all, let's suppose what happened in 2019, that in 2019 Lok Sabha election took place. Okay, so in 2019 Lok Sabha election took place, and what happened after Lok Sabha elections, that it is, friends, we all know that there are many political parties in India. Okay, so for your understanding, for making you understand, here we will imagine some hypothetical parties. I will not take the name of any political party. So let's suppose there is a political party A, political party B, political party C, and political party D. Okay, so they are four political parties: political party A, political party B, political party C, and political party D. Let's suppose, friends, political party A got 50 seats in Lok Sabha election. Okay, how many seats political party got? Political party A got 50 seats in Lok Sabha election. Political party C also got 50 seats in Lok Sabha election, and political party D got 53 seats in Lok Sabha election. Okay, so political party A got 50 seats, political party C got let's suppose political party C got 40 seats in Lok Sabha election, and political party D got 53 seats in Lok Sabha election, and political party B got 400 seats in Lok Sabha election. And when you will sum up all these seats, so the total will come as 543, and 543 are the total number of seats in Lok Sabha. Okay, so political party got 400 seats in Lok Sabha. Now friends, to form the government, okay, now friends, to form the government, absolute majority is needed in Lok Sabha. Absolute majority is needed in Lok Sabha. Now what is the meaning of absolute majority? So absolute majority means more than 50% of the total strength of house, more than 50% of the total membership of the house. Now friends, what is the total membership of Lok Sabha? So as we can see that total membership of Lok Sabha is 543. And how to calculate 50% of 543? So you have to divide 543 by 2. Okay, so when you will calculate 50% of 543, then the result will come as 271.5, and we need more than 271.5. So which number is more than 271.5? So 272 is more than 271.5. It means that the political party which will get at least 272 or more than that, more than seats, okay, the political party which will get at least 272 seats or more than 272 seats, that political party will form the government. Now friends, here we can see that political party B got 400 seats, and definitely you can say that 400 is a number more than 272. So it is clearly decided that political party B will form the government. Okay, so first of all, the party is decided that which party will form the government. So here as we can see that political party B got absolute majority in Lok Sabha, so definitely political party B will form the government. Okay, so who will form the government? Political party B will form the government. Then what will happen, friends? Then what will happen, that President of India, okay, President of India will call the leader of political party B. President of India will call the leader of political party B to form the government, and the leader of political party B will become the Prime Minister of India. The leader of political party will be political party B will become the Prime Minister of India. So let's suppose this big cross in red color, this represents Prime Minister of India. Okay, so first of all, political party is decided, then Prime Minister is decided. After that, friends, what will happen, that this Prime Minister will choose his ministers. Okay, means he will choose the other members of Council of Minister. Okay, so now this Prime Minister will choose his ministers. So first of all, party is decided that which political party will form the government. After that, Prime Minister is decided, and after that other ministers will be decided. Okay, now friends, the majority to form the government is seen only in Lok Sabha. Okay, majority to form the government is only seen in Lok Sabha, but ministers can be chosen from Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Now Prime Minister has the power to choose ministers either from Lok Sabha or from Rajya Sabha. So let's suppose these all ministers, okay, let's suppose these all ministers in this black circle, they all represent, these all ministers in this black circle, they all represents council of ministers. Okay, so they are council of ministers. Okay, means these all persons, these all member of parliament are the council of ministers. Okay, so friends, these members, okay, these members from Rajya Sabha are also the part of council of minister, means they are ministers, as well as these members from Lok Sabha are also the part of council of ministers, means they are also ministers. Okay, so first of all, political party is decided, then prime minister is decided, then prime minister chooses his ministers. Okay, then prime minister chooses his ministers, and majority to form the government, majority to form the council of ministers or the executive wing of the government is seen in Lok Sabha, but prime minister can choose his ministers from Lok Sabha as well as from Rajya Sabha. So in this way, the government is made in India. So now we can say that in India, in any parliamentary form of government, or in India, what happens, that executive is a part of legislature. So as you can see in the diagram, that this is Rajya Sabha and this is Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha are the two houses of the parliament, and the members of COM, members of council of ministers, are chosen from the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So this is the meaning of the statement that executive, that is COM, is taken out from the parliament or legislature. COM is a part of legislature. Executive wing of the government is the part of legislature. Okay. Now friends, let's move further. So friends, let's suppose this is COM. Okay. So this is Council of Ministers, and these all are the members of COM. These all are the ministers, or they are the members of Council of Ministers. Okay, so this is COM. Now friends, Prime Minister, okay, Prime Minister is the head of COM. Prime Minister is the head of Council of Ministers or the executive wing of the government. So Prime Minister is the head of Council of Ministers or the executive wing of the government. But friends, Prime Minister is not the head of country. Prime Minister is not the head of India. Okay, so who is the head of Indian state? So President of India is the head of Indian state. President of India is the head of Indian state. But Prime Minister is not the head of Indian state. But on the other hand, President is not the head of COM. President is not the head of COM, but Prime Minister is the head of COM. Prime Minister is the head of government. Okay, so two things you have to keep in mind. The first thing is who is the head of state? Who is the head of Indian state? So the President of India is the head of Indian state. Okay. Then the second thing is that who is the head of COM? COM means who is the head of government. So Prime Minister is the head of government. Okay. Prime Minister is the head of COM. And friends, because Prime Minister is the head of COM, Prime Minister is the head of government, so the real executive powers are exercised by the Prime Minister. Okay, so the real executive powers are vested in this Council of Ministers, and the boss of this Council of Ministers is Prime Minister. Okay, now friends, there are two concepts called as de jure head and de facto head. Okay, de jure head and de facto head. So de jure head means head for only namesake. Okay, means he does not have real powers. He only have namesake powers. He only have powers for show off. He does not have real powers. And de facto head means the person who has real powers, the person who is really powerful. So really he is not powerful. He is only powerful for namesake. But this person, the de facto head, is really powerful. So friends, the President of India is the de facto head of India. Okay, so President of India is the de facto head of India, means President is the head for namesake, but the Prime Minister of India is the de facto head of India. President of India is the de jure head of India. President of India is the de jure head of India, means President is the head for namesake. President is the nominal head, but Prime Minister of India is the de facto head of India, means Prime Minister is the real head of India. Why? Because Prime Minister is the head of Council of Ministers, and Council of Ministers is the executive wing of the government. Council of Ministers is the executive wing of the government, and President is bound by the advice of Council of Ministers for the discharge of his functions. President is bound by the advice of Council of Ministers, and the head of Council of Ministers is Prime Minister. So the real boss of India is Prime Minister. Okay, real boss of India is Prime Minister. That's why President is called as de jure head of India and Prime Minister is called as de facto head of India. Now friends, let's move further. So friends, I have told you that COM or the executive wing of the government is a part of legislature. Okay, so Council of Minister is a part of Parliament. Council of Ministers is a part of legislature. Okay, and friends, I have also told you to form the government in India, or to form the COM in India, absolute majority is needed in Lok Sabha. Okay, so in which house of the parliament absolute majority is needed? So the absolute majority is needed in Lok Sabha to form the government in India. Okay, now friends, this COM, okay, this Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha. Okay, this Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha, or in other words, we can also say that the executive wing of the government is responsible to the lower house of the parliament. Why? Because Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament. Okay, so Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha, or executive wing of the government is collectively responsible to the lower house of the parliament. Now what does it mean? So it means that this Council of Minister is accountable to Lok Sabha. Means Lok Sabha, members of Lok Sabha can ask question. Okay, members of Lok Sabha can ask question from the members of Council of Ministers regarding their working, and the members of Council of Ministers means the ministers. Okay, members of Council of Ministers means ministers. Okay, ministers are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha, means ministers have to give them answer. Okay, so the members of Lok Sabha can ask question from the ministers, and ministers have to give answer to the members of Lok Sabha. Ministers have to give answer to the Lok Sabha, and Lok Sabha also has the power to punish the Council of Ministers. Lok Sabha also has the power to punish Council of Ministers. Means if any work of Council of Ministers is wrong, then Lok Sabha can also remove the Council of Ministers. Okay, then we can say that government has fallen. Okay, so Lok Sabha can also remove the Council of Ministers if any work of Council of Ministers is wrong, if Lok Sabha is not happy with the works of Council of Ministers. Okay, so this means that all the ministers are collectively responsible. Means entire COM is collectively responsible to the lower house of the parliament or Lok Sabha. Means the members of Lok Sabha can ask question from ministers, and all the ministers are collectively answerable to Lok Sabha. They have to give answer to Lok Sabha, and Lok Sabha also has the power to punish COM. How Lok Sabha can punish COM? Lok Sabha can even remove the COM. Okay, so friends, that's all for today. I hope that you all must have enjoyed the lecture. And if you have liked the lecture, if you have enjoyed the lecture, then please like the video, comment, share my channel, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. I have uploaded the link of notes in the description of the video, and you can also download the notes directly from my blog. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.